I had two questions to ask. Is there any difference between the way of praying namaz between men and women?
That's the first question.
Yeah, and the second one is, I've heard that there is Shafi Imam and Hanafi and all that. But I want to know that which is the right one to follow as a new Muslim.
To be honest, Jazakumullah khair, the first question is there any difference between the salah of a male and a female? If you take a look at the scholars of jurisprudence, there is a difference of opinion between the Hanafi scholars and the rest of the scholars in this regard. So whilst the Hanafi scholars do say that there are some differences between a man and a woman's salah, the rest of the scholars say that there is no difference because it's not proven with authentic ahadith. And as we've said, these scholars of jurisprudence have all proven their points with various ahadith and so on. The confusing factor is what should a person do if, say, I've accepted Islam, and what school of thought do I follow? That's a very important question. What I've found to be the most practical answer is where you are and those who've actually assisted you in accepting Islam and so on, the entire environment. Not every place would be similar to Dubai here, where you can actually affiliate to an institution of this nature that would probably teach you what is closest to the Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We have different countries, and I know that we face this challenge in so many countries where you've accepted Islam and everyone around you happens to follow the madhab of Imam Shafi'i. So when it comes to beliefs, everyone is one. Belief will not differ. But when it comes to matters of jurisprudence, a person says Ameen aloud, a person says it softly, a person ties their hands on the chest and someone else ties it on their belly, and someone else might raise their hands and someone may not. Matters of jurisprudence are not as important as matters of faith and belief. So it's important for us to know that in belief we don't differ. But when it comes to matters of jurisprudence, the four schools of thought are widely accepted by the entire ummah. So we would be wrong to discount a school of thought based on the fact that, you know what, it's not the school of thought that I follow. When it comes to jurisprudence, I hope you're following the answer that I'm giving. And at the same time, what we need to know is perhaps those who are around us, it would be most practical for us to learn jurisprudence similar to what they have. If you have an opportunity to correct yourself and to ensure that what you are doing, to know the hadith that you are following, that would be the best. There comes a stage right at the beginning when you might not know every hadith for what you're doing. And as you grow, you will then begin to learn more and more in terms of the hadith which substantiates what you're doing, and then you will be a more knowledgeable person. So I hope you've understood what I've said. May Allah make it easy for us all. We do acknowledge that there are many differences of opinion across the globe. It does not remove us from the fold of Islam as such if the jurisprudence is different, and if, for example, we are following one of the four schools that are there, or even if we are following the Quran and the Sunnah as per the understanding of the predecessors and so on. It does not remove us from the fold of Islam, but some people actually use the opportunity to chisel through these differences in a way that they want to split the entire ummah. I'd like to hope that belief-wise we should be all the same. We should be all acknowledging what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed, and inshallah in that front without disagreement. As for jurisprudence, I've just mentioned that it's okay. As time passes, as you learn, you can correct yourself by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today we also have, a lot of online classes and courses which are doing a lot of good work. It depends, you need to perhaps ask the scholars around you to guide you to something that would be suitable for your method of learning. Some schools are online in terms of Skype and so on, and others operate in different ways. May Allah make it easy for us all. Jazakumullah khair.
Second question is from Lily, and she says, I am a woman and I have been resting my forearms on the ground upon every sujood, and I'm aware that there are differences in the performance of salat between men and women worshippers. Could you tell us further such differences? First of all, Lily, this is an issue of dispute among scholars. When you scrutinize it, when you look deep into it and research it, you find that the Prophet ﷺ clearly said, pray as you have seen me pray. So the hadith is general for men and for women. And if you search further you would not find any authentic hadith differentiating between the way a man prays and a woman's prayer. Which means that in order for me to build an allegation, I need evidence. So when someone says, if a woman were to pray in the presence of non-mahram men, as in the case of a woman who wants to pray on the pavement in the streets, it's time for prayer and there's no masjid and her home is far away, what would she do? She has to pray and she is fully covered. So we get people coming and saying, oh, if she's going to pray, then she has to conceal herself, in the sense that instead of making sujood like this or ruku', see, she has to conceal herself, put her forearms on the ground as the Prophet had prohibited, alayhi salatu wasalam. And he told us that this is simulating the way of a dog or a beast when they sit, and this is not permissible. You have to keep your arms, you have to raise your elbows away from your body. So some scholars say, no, she must not do this, she will be exposed. And this is not true. The Prophet ﷺ had never warned us from this, and this is a bit too extreme. It is too extreme, as we see in some masjids. When you have the women prayer area totally segregated with a wall, they cannot see the worshippers and they cannot see the imam, so that they could follow. And so many times the microphones go off and they are lost. They cannot follow the imam, they don't know what to do. This wasn't at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and this is not the right thing to do. Nevertheless, sometimes we are too protective to the extent that we are more Roman than the Romans. This is unacceptable. The religion of Allah is intact, is fixed. No need for you to come and change it. So no need for you to claim that you worry about women more than the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet did not ever tell us ﷺ that a woman should do this or do that when she prays in front of non-mahram men. Therefore, the conclusion of the answer, there is no evidence to differentiate the prayer of women from the prayer of men, and they're identical, and they have to do this whether in the presence of men or not.
Sister Sangeeta Singh is asking, Sheikh, please let me know what...
MashaAllah, you're good at reading names. I can't do that.
Yes, Sheikh, please let me know what is the perfect way of salah namaz for ladies. Is it the same as the men's namaz, or is there a difference? Because here in India, ladies are told that it's a different way of praying.
You don't have to say that she's from India. We already know that.
No, it's written here, so I'm just...
Any person would ask if there is a difference between the man and women's prayer, is from this part of the world. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. That is the sound hadith. He said to everybody, men and women, you guys should pray as you have seen me praying. And he never specified that Aisha or Hafsa or Fatima or any women, the sisters, you guys, your ruku' shouldn't be similar to the ruku' of men, or bound down shouldn't be complete, or sujood shouldn't be complete. Not at all. When the Prophet ﷺ taught them the right on top of the left on the chest, that's for both men and women. Okay? When he taught them the ruku', you should make like a 90-degree, a right angle. This is for everybody, men and women. Sujood, men and women. He specified when it comes to praying in congregation that the best of the rows of women are the farthest from the men, the last. And the best of the rows of the men are the first. So these are the only differences. But if you pray by yourself or in congregation, the prayer of a woman is, I'm not going to say very much, I would say it is the same like a man. Unless if you have a reference that says, no, the Prophet ﷺ said a woman shouldn't be praying like a man. And that is in Hinduism. They have a major difference with regards to the prayer of a woman from a man. But in Islam, it is the same.